Welcome back to Criminology Unlocked, unveiling the science behind crime, security, and society. My good friend, if you are a student, a lecturer, a law lover, or a criminology enthusiast, this teaching will transform your understanding of crime forever. Today's lesson is intriguing and enthralling that you would love. Guess the topic in the comment section. Let's do this. So I personally invite you. Sit back, relax, and journey with me as we unfold everything you need to know about the Classical School of Criminology, from its origin to its modern impact. Let's begin. The Classical School of Criminology is the oldest and most influential school of thought in criminology. Before modern criminology, people believed that crime was caused by spirits, demons, fate, or the will of God. There were no fair laws, punishments were cruel, and judges punished people based on personal feelings. Others also believe it was caused by demon possession, witchcraft, God's punishment, supernatural causes. It laid the foundation of modern criminal law, criminal justice, and penology. Classical school emerged in the 18th century during a period known as the Age of Enlightenment. This was a time when thinkers began to emphasize reason, logic, science, and human rights instead of superstition. The Classical School of Criminology came to change this injustice, cruel, arbitrary, and unfair punishment. The Classical School of Criminology is a school of thought that believes that crime is committed by a person who has free will and makes a rational choice after thinking about pleasure and pain. It also holds that crime is the result of a rational decision made by an individual who exercises free will after weighing the pleasure and pain involved in the act. This means human beings are not born criminals. People choose to commit crime. They calculate, what will I gain? What will I lose? People commit crime to gain pleasure or avoid pain. Crime is chosen. If punishment is severe and certain, they will not commit crime. Classical thinkers demanded justice, fairness, equality, and written laws. Now that we know what the classical school is, let's sit and talk about the founders or proponents. Major proponents of Classical School of Criminology is Cesare and Beccaria, 1738-1794.
And Jeremy Bentham, 1748 to 1832. Let's talk about them. Sit tight. Cesare Beccaria is the father of the classical school, an Italian philosopher and legal reformer. In 1764, Beccaria published a famous book on crimes and punishments. This book completely changed the way crime and punishment were viewed. The book states that laws must be clearly written, punishments must be proportionate, torture should be abolished, death penalty should be abolished. Crime prevention is better than punishment, and speedy trials should be encouraged.
Another proponent is Jeremy Bentham. He introduced the utilitarian principle. Bentham utilitarianism key idea is the greatest happiness of the greatest number. He also introduced the pleasure-pain principle, hedonistic calculus. Hedonism shows that people commit crime after calculating their pleasure, which is their profit or gain, and their pain, which is punishment or suffering. If pain is greater than pleasure, crime will reduce. Hedonism shows that people calculate their profit, risk, pain, pleasure before committing crime. Now that we know the major proponents and their ideas in the Classical School of Criminology, let's talk about the basic assumptions of the Classical School of Criminology. Basic assumptions of the Classical School are: 1. Free will. Human beings are free to choose between good and evil, and human beings possess free will. 2. Rationality. People think logically before committing crime, and man is a rational being. 3. Pleasure or pain. Crime is committed to gain pleasure and avoid pain. Crime is committed after calculation of pleasure and pain. 4 is equality before law. All persons are equal before the law. 5. Deterrence. Fear of punishment prevents crime. 6. Criminals should be punished for what they do, not for who they are. Main principles of the Classical School of Criminology. 1. Written laws.
Laws must be clear, public, and known to all. 2. Proportionality. Punishment must fit the crime. 3. Certainty of punishment. Every offender must be punished without exception. 4. Swiftness of punishment. Punishment should be quick to discourage crime. 5. Uniformity. Same crime should attract the same punishment for everyone. How crime is viewed according to the Classical School of Criminology. Crime is seen as a result of free will, a rational act, a decision based on calculated self-interest. Crime is not caused by heredity, biology, poverty, and supernatural forces. How criminals are viewed according to the Classical School. The criminal is seen as a normal human being, a thinking and logical being, and not physically or mentally different from from non-criminals. There, how punishment is viewed in the Classical School of Criminology. Punishment is seen as to deter the offender, deter others in society, and maintain law and order. Protect society, promote conformity, and punishment is not for revenge or cruelty. And also, punishment should be certain, swift, proportionate, and legal.
Contributions of the Classical School of Criminology to modern society. This school changed the world greatly by 1. Introduce human rights. 2. Introduce fair trials. 3. Introduce written laws. 4. Legal equality. 5. Formed the basis of modern criminal law. 6. Introduced penology and ended barbaric punishment. 7. Introduced the criminal justice system and deterrence. The strengths or advantages or merits of the classical school is that 1. It promotes justice and fairness. 2. It protects human rights. 3. It brought equality before the law. 4. It discourages arbitrary punishment. 5. It introduced deterrence. 6. It is the foundation of modern law. The weaknesses or disadvantages or demerits of the classical school are: 1. It ignores individual differences. 2. It assumes all humans are rational. 3. It ignores mental illness, poverty, peer pressure, and family background. 4. It does not explain why children commit crime and why mentally unstable people commit crime. And 5. Same punishment for different personalities is unfair. Let's look at the comparison or difference between classical school and biological school. In classical school, crime is by choice, and in biological school, crime is inherited. Classical school is based on free will, and biological school is based on genetics. In classical school, all are equal, and in biological school, some are born criminals. Classical school emphasizes punishment of offenders, while biological school emphasizes treatment of offenders. Classical school focuses on law, while biological school focuses on the body. Modern relevance of the classical school. Even today, we still use classical ideas, such as the written constitution, criminal codes, judicial fairness, human rights, legal equality. However, modern criminology now combines classical, biological, psychological, and sociological schools. Now let's talk about the criticisms of the Classical School of Criminology. Despite its importance, the classical school has several criticisms. Modern criminologists argue that it ignores biological and psychological factors. People do not always act rationally. Assumes everyone has equal freedom. Some crimes are committed under poverty, mental illness, drugs, emotions, and social conditions. 3. Fail to explain crimes of passion. Some crimes happen without thinking. 4. Unrealistic on deterrence. Severe punishments do not always prevent crime. Therefore, classical school alone cannot fully explain crime. In summary, the Classical School of Criminology is the pillar upon which the modern criminal justice system stands. The Classical School of Criminology did not just change criminology, it changed the world. It replaced cruelty with justice, torture with human rights, and arbitrariness with fairness. Though it has weaknesses, however, its influence on law, justice, punishment, equality can never be erased. It taught humanity that crime is not something forced by destiny alone, but often a choice made by the human mind. A choice that must be guided and controlled by just and equal laws. Even today, every courtroom, every constitution, every sentencing guideline still reflects the powerful influence of the classical school. Yes, it has weaknesses. Yes, it cannot explain all crimes, but without it, there would be no modern criminal justice system. My good friend, if this teaching has added value to your knowledge, do not keep it to yourself. Share it, like it, and allow others to benefit too. And most importantly, stay with me, because the next lesson will blow your mind. Please like, subscribe, and share, and tell me in the comments one thing you learned about classical school today. Thank you for watching Criminology Unlocked. Remember, knowledge is your greatest security. See you soon.